And we welcome you to another edition of This is Wrestling. And yes, we are live. It is at the Palatial Estates here in beautiful Ashton, Ontario, Lever Sage. And we're going to stick with Bodacious for now. In Bodacious Belleville, it's probably sunny. It must be a little bit sunnier because Zach McGibbon is there. Zachary, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Versage. I was wondering if this was part of a gimmick change for Belleville. You just had enough of hearing beautiful Belleville. You're like, no, that's not correct. So you've taken the gimmick onto yourself,
right,
for Ashton, and have given me my place, my city that I live in, a new gimmick, and so now it's Bodacious Belleville.
Yeah,
Bodacious Belleville. I do like the word.
Until the next episode.
Yes.
Yes.
It's if you're a Simpsons fan, it's like when Mo is training Homer Simpson for the boxing match. He's like, they call me Kid Gorgeous, then they call me Kid Presentable, then they call me Kid Mo, then they just call me Mo. So that's kind of how it's kind of progressing here when it comes to Belleville. It sounds like.
Well, the flowers are still out, right? On the
They
Canada, on the Canada, like when you go through Belleville on the 401, the flowers and the Canadian flag, they're out.
Still there.
They're not dead yet in the middle of July.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's been hot, and I wouldn't rule out that eventually it might, with the heat, might get the flowers going. But last I checked, they are still there.
Well, then it's still bodacious to me.
There you go.
All right, we have a lot to talk about, including Kenny Omega winning the AEW championship on Wednesday. We're going to talk all about it. We also are going to go into, Zach, the most over-pushed wrestlers of all time. We're going to work in some of these themes with people listening live. They get a chance to interact. Our buddy Rich is also here as always. Woo! He says AEW on fire. But yes, we are going to talk about the most over-pushed wrestlers of all time. People, guys out there, girls that consistently show up on your screen and you're like, why? Why? What are you still doing here? And why is it Jack Perry? No, Zach. That's mean.
You said it, not me. I mean,
we're going to talk about it because Jack Perry has signed a new deal. I don't know if you saw the video.
They dedicated a whole segment, a video package towards it. It's amazing what some off-the-air banter could lead to for on-air segments.
Yeah. Where else was he possibly going to go?
Maybe the Fed, Lee, maybe WWE, maybe he would have lit up NXT and face off against Naraku for the NXT championship. Could you imagine that? Jack Perry versus Evil for the NXT championship. You know, years ago, it used to be Aleister Black at his peak and Andrade at his peak and all the Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. And now Naraku is battling out for the NXT championship with the Tony D'Angelo, not the hockey player. So get fired up.
Who's the person coming over to join him from Japan? Did they sign somebody else? I feel like they did.
I believe Hiromu Takahashi is going to be reporting very soon.
Right.
So,
and joining Evil.
Yeah. At least he's not the same guy he was, during Prime New Japan. And that I just attribute that to injuries and whatnot. So good on him, just trying to maximize his payday and go to the WWE. But we'll see. And plus motivation factors near the end in New Japan, you could tell that Hiromu was kind of pulling back a little bit because there wasn't really much to sink his teeth into. So who knows? Maybe he's able to turn another leaf in WWE. But
so our man Stardust Tesla says the problem with listening live is I don't have anything for later. I don't know that we've come across these types of problems before, but I will use this as a launching pad to tell Stardust Tesla and everybody else listening that yes, while that might be your problem tonight, it shouldn't be your problem coming up in, I would say, 4 or 5 days from now. Because I want to say, and I don't know what's going to be live and what's going to be recorded and all this stuff, but most of it, I would say, is going to be recorded. So you won't have this problem, Stardust. We have coming up Dark Side of the Ring, which Zach and I have both watched the first 2 episodes of the Jeff Jarrett TNA story. The third and final part of that story airs on Tuesday. So we will be doing separate reviews of that show. And I'm telling you, it is worth your time. If you haven't gone to, well, there's lots of different outlets. Honestly, I just typed it into YouTube and it came up, and that was fine for me. The first 2 episodes are very good. And I think number 3 is going to be even better. But we're going to be doing independent shows on that, reviewing all of the different wrestlers that they're talking about. There also is coming up, Zach, and I made a mistake on the last show, and I said that, I thought that July 15th was something, but it was WWE Unreal July 21st, which actually is true. It is the 21st.
Yep.
But coming up on Wednesday night after Dynamite and after Sports Center,
right, a little gap in between.
Little gap. Coming up at midnight is the debut of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling airing on TSN. And Zach and I are going to kind of get on this from the beginning. We're going to be doing, they might be shorter shows, but some separate reviews of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling each and every week, because it feels like we can get on this from the ground running, like from the very beginning, and be a part of it. And I think that that's important for a Canadian national brand on TSN happening. And hopefully, down the line, we'll be able to connect with them, have some wrestlers on. And as Rich says, it'll also be on my AEW for free as well. So if you have the app, then no problem. You can watch it at any time after it airs live on Wednesday night, Thursday morning at midnight. Plus, we'll be doing regular shows at the end of the week with, another Dynamite as we look forward to Redemption, which is less than 2 weeks away. Who's not excited about that?
Right?
So I don't think Stardust Tesla is going to have an issue. Plus, I have been on our good friend, I'm not putting him over right now, don't have the energy. I will when he's here, the super fan. He's been tasked with coming up with some more shorts for us. So between the shorts and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling and Dark Side of the Ring and WWE Unreal, which is the 21st, plus our normal recap shows / talking about the most overpushed wrestlers of all time, who's behind Jack Perry. We have a lot to get through. I don't think content will be an issue coming up in the next little while for Stardust Tesla.
Yeah, no, we were laying it out. It's like, all right, this is coming up and this is coming up. So yeah, you got Dark Side of the Ring. We'll be starting up those reviews once the third part of the TNA episode is released. We'll be getting that going. MLP, as you mentioned, and then WWE Unreal, which, I saw the trailer for it that was released on YouTube or whatever, and I just kind of groaned a little bit, but I'll get myself locked in for it, I guess, and reviewing that as well.
Hold on, why?
Just knowing that we're gonna have to go back in, and it's all about listening to what the audience has to say.
Yes,
and
I know, but the best part of it is watching you get angry about what you are watching. Why don't sacrifice for the people, Zach?
For their entertainment, my mental states.
Yes. Put your mental state aside and sacrifice for the people. Because an angry Zach McGibbon, a couple of minutes in, and quite frankly, there was an episode last year that just drove me nuts. And I went crazy about it because we end up talking about it just hours after it aired. And I just couldn't contain myself. But you go back and listen to it, and you're like, that's good. I didn't feel great at the time, but listening to it again, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I'm just mentally preparing for it. I'm glad the Dark Side's coming out first as opposed to having to wait for Dark Side, because that will help with the transition over. But as soon as I hear the first words of any wrestler saying, what we do is, listen to the audience, I'm just gonna throw my head back and just be like, really? Stop lying to us. It's the audience, they're the most important people out there. It's like, you don't think that's true. Stop telling me that's true. I'm tired of hearing this. So, and Triple H getting on his little podium or whatever.
Maybe he'll get up there and say, we do this because we're smarter than you, so we know what we're doing.
You know what? That would be refreshingly honest. So honest, I wish he would go out there and just say it instead of just trying to lie to us or whatever. But so that's coming up. Those Unreal episodes. I will be trying to make some time. I won't lie, Lee. I might be looking at you and be like, oh, I didn't have the time to watch Unreal. It's so much going on, but really it's because I don't want to watch Unreal. But I'm gonna hunker down. I'm gonna watch it, and we're gonna review it right here. So get fired up.
So basically, it's how you feel about when the Red Blacks are on. Oh, Doc.
That was a fun stream we did, even if it was not a fun circumstance leading into the postgame show. But
I'm telling you that's usually what makes the good stuff, right? Is oh my God, it's midnight. They just got blown out again. They're 0-5. They lost 40-17. Oh, by the way, Drew Brown did light up the Argos. The next night. And is probably going to come to Ottawa and light the Red Blacks up as the quarterback that they just traded away for nothing because they didn't like him. So when you go to 1:30 in the morning, look, the honesty is maybe it's not great podcasting or live, but there's something very genuine about it. We are up suffering through this, trying to be there for the people.
That's right. And for midnight, it was a pretty active chat too for us on the Red Blacks post game show, because I think you had a lot of people that have kind of reached it up to a certain point now, and we'll see what happens next. But this is the Red Blacks.
No,
that's all you can find on the This Is OSN YouTube channel, of course, and on thisisosn.com. But yeah, I in terms of the wrestling stuff, that's a lot happening. And then, of course, as you mentioned, we're going to be on the road over to Redemption, and really looking forward to that. And it's going to be a lot of content coming your way.
Will we hear the greatest wrestling song ever produced, All American Boys? Because they are dedicating 0 Hour to the Rougeaus. There's going to be a dedication to the family of the Rougeaus coming up at Redemption the hour before. We need to get to Montreal early.
Yeah. I really kind of want to see how Jacques Rougeau specifically handles all of the spotlight. But it's part of what AEW does, is they go into different areas and they honor some of the local talents that were there that had kind of made a name for themselves there. And to say that the Rougeaus made a name for themselves in Quebec would be an understatement, a significant understatement. So pretty cool that they're able to do that, going to Montreal. And that's a big thing too. The Rougeau name still holds a lot of water, even in 2026. So that's also helps them a lot in terms of trying to get some new people into the building, right? So,
well, and because Raymond probably has been a decent human being carrying other members of the family that might not have been as good.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay, so just before we get to the major news of the week, we're on after CM Punk won the WWE Championship last Tuesday, because that was obviously newsworthy to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And we had another world title change on Wednesday. But Zach, it's been what, 15 minutes? And you haven't acknowledged the shirt yet. Okay. I'm going to stand up for everyone. See this?
There you go.
Okay. If you're just listening, well, Zach, you can read it out.
Babyface in the streets, heel in the sheets.
Okay.
I believe Lever Sage is talking about the dirt sheets when it comes to the sheets.
Well, listen, you can assume, make your own conclusions, which sheets I'm talking about. I mean, it just works on so many levels. All right. Kenny Omega was challenging MJF for the AEW World Championship at Beach Break in Clearwater, Florida. And if he lost, he could never challenge for the AEW World Championship again. And Zach, he does not have to worry about that because Kenny Omega, after, I gotta see how you feel about this, but I was kind of into it, hulking up and kicking out at 1. Comes back with 3 V-triggers, a 1-winged angel, and pins MJF to win the World Heavyweight Championship. What did you think of Kenny Omega and MJF on Wednesday night?
Thought it was a very good match. I still think the best match those two have had was actually a couple of years ago on Collision. I still think that's kind of their best pro wrestling match with each other, but still very, very good match. I really enjoyed it, especially that finishing sequence. That's one of those, and I say that begrudgingly, considering how much this word has been utilized in the last couple of years, but it is a moment for AEW that they can rely on and look back on for the next couple of years.
Does that hurt you?
It hurts me a lot to say that because it has just been put into the ground, beaten to a bloody pulp, just getting everything you can out of that word. But I do think it is apropos for this kind of match because I think that's something you'll see. You know, it's the classic, oh, you're going to see this in the intro card for TV, or you're going to see this as, you know, when you look back at the greatest moments of AEW's history. I think this is going to be one of those things that they'll look back on as well. This is a great match. I was a little surprised there was no Hangman involvement, but we'll talk about him in a moment in terms of where he is getting involved. Mm-hmm. But we did get Will Ospreay coming in, and I felt like, you know, the thing with run-ins, I think sometimes people misconstrue me saying there should be no run-ins at all. And sometimes I feel like that should be the case because it's just been so overdone, but it's how you utilize the run-ins. And so many times it's used as a booking crutch, especially in the WWE.
Yeah.
Of just, oh, we need to get this story over. And this is how we know to tell stories, is to have 17,000 people run in and they're all connected to the story somehow, some way. So it's not my favorite and it's been utilized to death. But in this case, I understood what they were going for with the Ospreay involvement and trying to outsmart MJF. And in this case as well, this is not heels running in to, you know, get involved and whatnot. We've seen that so many times for Heat, right? Mm-hmm. This is a babyface outsmarting a heel and a babyface helping out another babyface in that moment. So I think it worked well in the end. I understood what they were going for with that spot. Again, the match itself I thought was really good, especially when you consider apparently it was super. I mean, it's Florida, so it makes sense, but it was super hot over there. Add on to the fact you've got the TV lights flashing on you as well, which
it was 90 degrees. It was 90 degrees here, and I know that because I looked it up as they were wrestling to see what the temperature difference was. It was exactly the same. It was 30 degrees Celsius, humidity just a little bit more in both Ottawa and in Clearwater. Yeah. So imagine like going outside right now and, you know, performing to that level.
Plus under TV lights too, which can also get a little hot. Yep. So by the way, you mentioned Clearwater, a lot of Clearwater ads. If you noticed, there's a lot of promotion for Clearwater. So clearly they got some advertising money where they were able to promote it. Luckily it's no beautiful Riyadh when it comes to promotion, but
it's not.
Hey, it's certainly something, of course, but I noticed that too, that there was a lot of Clearwater. It's like, oh, look at the nice beaches over here in beautiful Clearwater.
No, this is a handle. Johnny the Last Real Bad Guy.
That's a great handle.
As opposed to Sami Zayn.
The last real good guy.
The last real good guy. Johnny says, would you rather wrestle in hot weather or in cold weather? I can tell you that as a guy that used to, I know it doesn't look like it right now, but I did run a lot, like I did cross country. I did, when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
The colder, the better. Like when I would go out, I would hope that it was freezing cold. I could breathe better. And I just had, honestly, a little bit more lung capacity when it was really cold. And I might not be everyone, but for me, the colder, the better. So to go out and do something active, you can work your body heat up.
Mm-hmm.
When it's already 1,000,000 degrees outside, the only good news for them is if you do a proper warm-up, you get a little bit extra that your body's even more warmed up and ready to go. That shouldn't be an issue in the hot weather. So for me, it would be cold. What about you?
I'm also cold. I'm big into the cold. I would much rather be able to warm up, because when you're in hot weather and you're wrestling, you're heating up even more. Plus humidity on top of that just makes it feel awful. So I'd much rather be out wrestling in the cold. Now, of course, I've got to be, safety Sam over here and say I would wrestle neither. I'd much rather have nice, like, cool, like a room temperature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? This was, I swear to God, I asked you, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, he's gonna say like 68 degrees, room temperature, just an even, simple temperature, not too hot, not too cold. And you know what? You performed.
That's right. Yep. I knew it. I just saw it's like, I do have to make mention of this, like what I would actually prefer. I am the Goldilocks of pro wrestling in some cases, like not too hot, not too cold, just right when it comes to wrestling. But to answer the question, easily cold for me.
By the way, we're talking about Kenny Omega winning, and we're gonna go back to that in a second. But I did watch a video of you this week calling Remix Wrestling.
Okay.
Because I wanted to pick up a few things.
All right.
Well, you and I are going to be this great commentary team going forward.
Hey.
Like I have to watch how it's done.
You got to watch the product.
Learn from the best, because you are the voice of Remix, Acclaim. So, like, if I'm going to work with this guy,
you gotta understand my tendencies and how I call matches and whatnot.
I do. So, the one I watched, our man, it was the 4-way women's match, and our man Sugar Shane Pinto,
yes,
was on commentary with you.
Yes.
Yeah. Do me a favor next time. Greatest play-by-play guy of all time in the history of wrestling play-by-play.
I did not say that for the record, but yes.
No, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you're really good.
I like how you're teeing this up. I'm in my seat. I'm waiting for what's to come next.
No, Zach, you're really good. I know that. Okay? Like, I'm watching you to pick up a few things. I know you've done this. It's one of your strengths, but do me a favor.
All right.
All right. As a guy who was tuning in that didn't know every woman in the ring, I'm trying to hear the ring announcer. And do you know why I can't hear the ring announcer? Because you and Shane Pinto are yapping and yapping over the introductions. What are you doing? And look, it was more Shane Pinto than you. But you know what? You made the classic mistake of asking him, and like, he's going on. I'm like, please be quiet, because I know you want it to be about you, but it's about the 4 women that are in the ring right now. Shane, okay? Like, I like you, but come on. But you asked him another question in the middle of it. Like, he answered whatever it was he was going on, and you were like, why do they call you Sugar or whatever you asked him? Like it,
Right.
and I'm like, oh my God, Zach. Because then he went on to talk for another minute, and I honestly didn't hear what the girl's name was or where she was from, and I'm like, you guys can't be doing this, okay?
Yeah, to be fair, we usually do try to keep a low profile. Usually when I call the matches, I just wait for the bell to ring to just start calling it.
Yeah, but Sugar Shane was out there.
Yeah, and he's his own character sometimes, and it's like
I know.
I have to do one of the things I have to work on is try and reel people in a little bit. It's very tough to reel some pro wrestlers in because they're just
telling me
right?
on this show. Yeah. You're telling me.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's one of the things I definitely need to get better on is reel in some people because usually like they're ready to go, they're firing up and whatnot, and they're on.
Yeah.
And so
you know what you do beforehand, before the match starts? Don't talk during the introduction.
I started to go like, we're gonna start calling the match once the bell rings, and then they usually get the point there.
Yeah,
but,
and no, you know what it was? Now I remember. You're like, oh, did you know you have the same name as another?
Oh
Shane Pinto?
Yes, as another Shane Pinto.
I'm like, what, Zach? You can't be doing that in the beginning of the match. And he's going on how he blocked him, which I don't disagree. Like that's a good move on his part.
Yeah, I do remember that. I forgot that was during the introductions. I do remember asking that question because I remember asking that question because so he was the manager for one of the women's wrestlers.
Yes.
That's why he was out there. I was trying to remember. It's like, why was Shane out for the women's match? And I was like, oh, because he's managing Drea Mitchell during that show. And yeah, so he was doing his hype job, right? He's trying to hype up his clients in Drea Mitchell, right? So that's when I asked the question of, do you know you share a name of a hockey player that plays right here in Ottawa? And that's when he said, yeah,
very fair comment.
Yep.
Just not in the introduction. But I digress. The rest of the match was fantastic. And you called a very good match. So I'm getting used to your cadence. I'm getting used to some of the things that you like to do when you call wrestling matches. So that was just off the top of my head. Let's go back to Kenny Omega. It seems like, and I don't know whether to believe the reports, the sheets, whatever it is, something about MJF wanting the match moved up. It was originally planned for Redemption, and they moved it up. Is that because of MJF's injury? Is it because they wanted to... Like, I first thought that they moved it up because they want to tell you what the main event of All In is and have like 7 weeks to promote the main event, to sell tickets. When you have a massive show like that, I do believe giving people more time to let them know what the main event is. And like Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, yeah, you should be announcing that months out. My opinion.
I agree.
So for whatever reason, they moved it up 3 weeks. And maybe it's a combination of both. Like usually these things do have 2 or 3 reasons why. But I guess on the other hand, I'll now ask you, because I'm not going to ask you whether it was a good decision to move it up, because I think they clearly had their reasons. Was it injury? Was it because they wanted to sell tickets? What are they going to do for AEW Redemption main event? What is the plan now that they've moved that match up and Kenny Omega is your new AEW heavyweight champion?
Yeah, it felt like it was just built in. The redemption part of the name was going to be Kenny Omega getting his redemption against MJF in Montreal in Canada.
Yeah.
So I think it's a combination of the two. I do wonder about that injury for MJF, how it's affected him and how he feels he's going to be able to come in. Because it's interesting that they moved it up a couple of weeks. Now, I do think it's also the element of you were looking at the ticket sales for All In, and it was just kind of staying stagnant for a little bit. Now it's bumped up. They did a 50% off sale, so that helps, of course. But I think once you get a marquee name, and as you mentioned, they've got some weeks out that they've got to promote and build up. I think you needed something to get people enticed and saying, okay, I need to go to All In because of this. And I think an Omega Osprey match certainly is a selling match for a lot of people. So I think it's a combination of those factors. I think they wanted to get a match on there that people are locked in. I know that's something that far out we've seen in time. When you have a big match, you want to promote it as possible. Going way back, I think of The Rock and John Cena. They announced their match a year out, and that was big. Like, they were promoting it all year. I think stuff like that works a lot, especially with the names. So I think if you, obviously this isn't a year out for Omega and Osprey, but a few weeks out, like still about a month and a half to go, I think it's the right time to start promoting. Okay, this is our main event. This is how it's going to move forward. This is how people will get excited for it. So I think it's a combination of factors.
Yeah, I do too. You didn't tell me what the main event of Redemption is going to be. You know, the question I asked you. Feel like you're Sugar Shane Pinto over there, just going on your own agenda.
Just letting the ring introductions go on.
Yeah.
No, I still think there's going to be some sort of a number one contenders matchup. I feel like they're going to save Omega for the next little bit. They might do one other match so that you could get a title defense.
You don't think Kenny Omega is going to be in the main event in Montreal? Really?
I feel like they're going to try and protect him a little bit. I definitely feel like MJF versus Osprey is going to be coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a match that's going to come up.
Whether it's not about the injury, if they're gonna do that, like if they're gonna do Osprey and MJF trying to get in to the main event picture, maybe All In if he defeats Will Ospreay, something like that. Maybe he entices him to put the number one contendership up on the line. But then it can't be about MJF's injury, because if he was going to be healthy enough to go, shouldn't it have just been Kenny Omega and MJF in the first place?
That's a fair question.
I'm very intrigued as to where this is going to go.
It was interesting. The super fan I saw in a group chat saying he's thinking Omega Okada for Montreal. Now, he didn't bring much else in terms of like an explainer why. I don't think he was expecting to be brought up here on This Is Wrestling.
You could have just stopped at the end of that. He doesn't bring much to the table.
Ouch.
Period. You could have just stopped there.
Wow.
But yeah, he's full of ideas. I swear to God, he's David Pagnotta.
Oh man, there's a comp for all the hockey folks.
Yeah, but 50% of the time he's bang on, man.
Yep. It's that Anchorman quote. 50% of the time it works every time.
Every time. Yep. I'm gonna start calling them Pags.
Oh boy. Pags.
Yeah, because 50% of the time he nails it and he'll tell you all about it. And he kind of does the Homer Simpson back into the weeds thing.
Yes.
When the other 50% of the time.
That's right.
Rich says, wait, I missed something. Are we not getting MJF in Montreal again? Last time I went to a December Montreal show a few years ago, I was excited and he wasn't there either. Was that a pay-per-view?
No, that was the AEW shows. There was a Dynamite that went over to Montreal a couple years ago. Ben went to that.
Okay, I would hope that MJF is on this show, but if he's hurt, if he legitimately is hurt, and the way that they've taped up his leg, but he has not made a big deal of the leg, which usually tells you that he is hurt.
Yep.
When they wrap it all up like that, and he's out there like with it very protected, but they don't make it part of the angle. They don't bring it up.
Right.
That usually tells you that he is hurt. That sucks, Rich, that you went to Montreal and didn't get to see him. But hey, we all went to Toronto, and you know who we didn't see? Almost everybody on the roster. that we wanted to see. No Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
No Kenny Omega. No Swerve Strickland. We still got Hangman and Fletcher.
Yep.
And MJF and Mark Briscoe. But we were disappointed. I mean, we bought pay-per-view tickets going down to Toronto, and we didn't get to see any of those guys. It was still a good show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he says, I don't need to see him wrestle. I just want to see him do a promo because he's the best. They usually don't spend 15 minutes doing promos on pay-per-views. But
yeah, that will be a little bit tough. I mean, who knows? There was the Mick Foley segment at Double or Nothing beforehand, so you can never say never. But
the Mick Foley segment on AEW Dynamite this week.
Well, there was also that one too. Roving reporter Mick Foley.
Yeah. And Rich says also the Van Ride episodes were great. Do more this year for the road trip. Well, those are loaded up. They're ready to go, Rich. Shows on the way and on the way back.
Yep. I've got the equipment set up for all that, so it should be
we're ready to go.
Another one. Yep.
Yeah. We are absolutely going to do that again. So man, we just go in so many different directions because you brought up the Mick Foley thing. I hated the way they did this.
The roving reporter Mick Foley.
Well, first of all, they teased like Kyle Fletcher wins, which we haven't talked about. Kyle Fletcher wins the international championship from Takeshita in a great match, great ending. These two are just they have fantastic chemistry. He wins the international title, and they go to break with a picture. And to be fair, I was watching it at a bar with the super fan Ben Soublier and our good friend Tanner. And they go to break and they're like coming up after the break, like interviewer Mick Foley. I'm like, what? You literally promoted the fact of who's going to be doing the interviewing going to break. And then they come back. And Zach, I need to know how you feel now about Mick Foley. I like Mick. I think when he gets serious, he's really good for a short burst of time. Still, what I don't need is pictures of his dogs on his feet in his shoes and then comparing them to Don Callis' shoes. And I'm watching this on mute for the first time. I'm like, what in the bloody hell is going on? Kyle Fletcher just won the international championship. They promote Mick Foley. They go to commercial. He comes back. They're talking like Mick Foley and him are in a war about their shoes. I'm like, guys, Kyle Fletcher just won the international championship. And then for some reason, they have Kevin Knight come out and kind of looks down at Kyle Fletcher. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is good.
Yep.
But no. Then he's out there to challenge for a world title shot. What? And then Andrade comes out.
Okay, but how you know?
I don't even know what that means.
But Lee, how you know?
I still don't know what it means.
Lee, but you don't understand. How you know?
Tranquilo.
Well, how you know?
Like,
does wrestling love when they have a catchphrase? They will just shove it down your throat.
The guy's not great at English, and it's not his fault. But man, that's all he says.
Yep.
I'm so tired of him already. I'm tired of him. And I know when he gets in the ring, he can put on some great matches. But this like charisma thing that with the women and the Tranquillo and the how you know, I don't get it because it does not connect with me.
Not hitting.
No.
Not hitting.
What? Tell me where, because I asked you this months ago. Tell me where this is going with the pictures of the women in the crowd. What is the end game with this?
Great question. I don't know. I just feel like that's just kind of a part of the thing at this point. It's when they put together the match, it's like, all right, don't forget my spot in this match where I have to go up to the ringside and get the attractive woman on the outside, and I gotta get my spot in.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
I think this is a good callback. It reminds me of Rick Rude. And back in the day, when he would have a girl come into the ring at the end after he's won his match, he would kiss her. She would like faint. And you're like, okay, I guess like it's the 80s, I suppose. But in the end, he ended up having Jake Roberts' wife come in and she didn't faint and she slapped him and like they had a feud. Okay, at least it was going somewhere because he didn't do it again after that. Where is this going? The end game is that Andrade is going to be complaining again.
Well, that would be funny. That
there
would
you go,
just,
Rich.
Like, he's going on to Twitter, underutilized, underpushed again. TikTok, like get the clock out again. Maybe he'll bring back, you know how every wrestler compares their time in a company to being in a jail. It's like, I'm breaking out of this prison. Like maybe that's what Andrade will be doing.
Yeah.
But he's still gonna push. But yeah, I mean, to your point about the promo segment, I thought that was intentional in terms of like Kyle Fletcher, like eventually teasing the Kyle Fletcher babyface turn, where it's like, oh, I just won the international championship, and you're already moving on to, you know, Kevin Knight, especially the Kevin Knight segment. Like, oh, you're already moving on to Kevin Knight. He's challenging for the world title, but this is my moment. And you know, I thought we were cool here, Don. Like, I felt like that was a seed planting for that.
Yep.
When it comes to Foley, number one, I think in terms of just promoting it is just something to say, hey, he hasn't been on TBS since 1993 or whatever, right? Like he has when he was Cactus Jack. But in terms of the interview segment, I got what he was going for. When Mick Foley is locked in, like he was locked in for that promo with MJF and Darby Allin.
Right. Yep.
I think that guy's still upper echelon promo talker.
Yep.
In this case, it was a little bit more lighthearted. It was not that promo. I still think I still see his motivation. Like I still see him motivated. It's not like he's going out there. It's clear he's taking a paycheck, right? I think that guy's still very motivated. Was it my favorite promo content? Not really. It did kind of fit the vibe of Mick Foley in terms of his buildup of utilize the dogs and is like it's going straight up your ass, Don Callis, right? Like it's a very Mick Foley thing to say.
Okay, but is it leading to Mick Foley and Don Callis?
Oh, probably not. That would be a weird one-on-one match.
Yeah, but I don't want to see Mick Foley get into the ring like he's staring down Kyle Fletcher, and I'm like, oh my God, stop. Because please don't let it be Kyle Fletcher and Mick Foley.
Yeah. Did you hear, I think Darby Allin was in an interview recently. He was asked if he wanted to wrestle Mick Foley. He was like, no, I don't really want to, but I would love to be in a tag team with them. But I like similar to Sting, but no, I do not want to wrestle Mick Foley. I was like, if that guy Darby out, like you want to talk about styles meshing, if Darby's saying no, I don't want to do that, I think that says a lot. The man that's thrown himself into glass, fallen downstairs, hung upside down from the top of a giant stadium, went up Mount Everest. Like all these things had almost like they're drowning him in the fish tank at that All Out show against Moxley. It was like, oh, they brought out a fish tank filled with water, is putting him in. Like all these things that Darby Allin has done. But the thing that Darby's like, nah, man, this is not what I'm gonna do. Is him wrestling Mick Foley.
Mm-hmm.
I think says a lot. So I didn't see this as setting up a segment like a Kyle Fletcher Mick Foley promo or a match or anything like that. I just saw this more as utilizing a name and trying to put over the story. But I can understand if it didn't hit because it did just kind of get convoluted again. Because again, Andrade's out there in a giant jacket, by the way, in 30-degree weather.
Which, okay, and I made this point right away. It's like insanely hot there. He has a 3-piece suit on and a trench coat.
Yeah.
Like, and I asked the real, like the AEW guys who more than me, what the hell is he doing? Oh, that's just his look.
Look.
He couldn't have come out just in the suit.
Yeah.
In 90 degrees. Other guy, like it was right in like the window of my man Lance Archer, the Florida guy. like in Florida, 90 degrees. He's out there in his Florida shirt. Like, I'm here for that.
Andrade's gonna come out next time in some sandals, maybe like a beach shorts.
Tranquilo, yeah.
He's got the floaty around him, and maybe some floaties on his arm. He's like, guys, I'm ready for the beach. Let's go. This is beach break.
But by the way, I thought the set and the setup for beach break looked incredible.
Oh, it looked awesome. I love when they do this stuff like this. Make it look different from everything else. Just needed similar to Kevin Nash jumping into that pool on Nitro. Needed something like that, like a little bit of water on the outside.
I love the Nitro setup, but they went back to the well. Too many times. Yes. Where it was like, okay, now I've seen it. Now it doesn't feel special.
Yeah.
But when they do this, I think Tony Khan's got this one right. Where when they went to the golf thing earlier, a couple months ago, and it just, for some reason, it looked incredible.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, we're going to plan to come back. But if they do that once a year, great. If they go to the US Open, right? Where they once a year looked amazing. They do this beach break thing. Same place, do it once a year. Looks awesome. Oh, our boy Skuse, who was in earlier, says have Shark Boy swimming around the ring.
There you go.
Yeah, Shark
Give
Boy.
Give me a shell, yeah, Lee.
He made an appearance in the dock.
The Dark Side doc, yes.
We'll get to one of Scuse's other comments a little bit later about most overpushed wrestlers of all time. So I love the setup. I thought it looked fantastic. Hope they go back and do it again, just not all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
So just back to the world title picture for a second. I don't know if we kind of figured out exactly what they're going to do here for the next 3 weeks. Like, is Omega going to be off and have him rest up completely and get ready for that match? Do you think, like, I got a lot of questions.
Yep.
Do you think Omega wrestles again in any capacity before that with the chance of him getting hurt for the main event of Wembley? Do you think it's face versus face by the time we get to Wembley? Or is Kenny Omega going to at least be a tweener at that point? Is MJF going to be involved? Do you think that it's even possible that they make this a three-way and MJF gets himself involved in this match?
If they make this a three-way, I think it's cowardly booking for All In. I would not be, even with the quality of wrestlers that would be in that three-way, I think if you just commit to, I've always been a proponent of the one-on-one has to be the main event for your biggest show.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing a three-way, it means you're like, oh, but we want to push this guy, but the fans want this guy in, or we got to cater to this or whatever. Like, I think it's all cowardly. It's just like, look, here's your one-on-one match. This is your main event. Lock in, get fired up.
Okay.
So
I agree with that.
Yeah. If it's a three-way, I would call them out for cowardly booking. In terms of Omega himself, you know, the more like I look at it, because it is very interesting what the next couple of weeks could be. I could totally see them just saving him, maybe have one other match just so you can get a title defense for him in there. Would that be in Redemption Montreal? Potentially. But I feel like at this stage of his career, you just kind of want to protect Omega a little bit. I think in terms of what could happen next for Redemption, like, again, I still feel like Ospreay MJF is on the table, very much on the table for that show. And MJF could turn that Redemption name into like, I'm seeking my redemption because I got screwed out of the championship by that man Will Ospreay or whatnot, right? And he could turn it into a heelish way.
That's a little weak, but okay.
It is weak, but it's something, right? And it would be something that MJF would do. So I do think you are going to get one more Omega match. I'm debating if it's going to be at Redemption or not. That's what's in my head. I know I know some would say, yeah, it probably would be at the pay-per-view, and I wouldn't rule it out. But I always go back to that Grand Slam Mexico show, and I feel like that's something that's on the table. I feel like Andrade is going to have a big spot on that show.
Yeah, which
for
is what,
sure.
like 9 days after that.
Yeah.
It's that one feels to me like Andrade in the main event.
Yep.
Maybe
challenging for the title potentially.
Yeah, maybe the international title, right?
Maybe.
Like, you're in Mexico.
Yep.
Challenging Kyle Fletcher would be, but I just don't know if he would go over. That's all.
Mhm.
But maybe he does. Like, what would be wrong with switching the international title back a couple of times before All In, like giving it to Andrade in Mexico and then having Fletcher win it back in Wembley?
Mhm. That could be something too.
Where you could get the face turn going even more at that point, because they're going to be cheering for him anyway.
Yep.
I'm still a bit confused, though, as to where they're going to go with, I guess, what I call the main event picture of Omega, Ospreay, MJF. Is somebody else involved in that? Whether it's Andrade, whether it's does Okada get a title shot, or honestly, does Kevin Knight? He challenged for the title that night. Like, do we get Omega Kevin Knight in the main event at Redemption?
That would be risky. That would be pretty bold. You could probably pull it off.
It feels a lot like Hangman and Fletcher from a year ago. To me, like, we like Kyle Fletcher, so we're not that disappointed. But Fletcher being in the main event spot, they are doing this for their young talent. Like, Kyle Fletcher wrestling in the main event of a pay-per-view show at the time was like, really? And I think we've come over the last year or two to go, yeah, he could do that. But there was still a question on whether he could do that and go 30 minutes with Hangman Page, like, in that spot. And are they going to do the exact same thing? Because we saw a pay-per-view that's not one of their biggest. And this is also, with it being a new show, not one of their biggest. So putting their young talent in these really, really big spots, to me, is a smart thing to do, because quite honestly, people are going to forget about Redemption in a week or two going into All In Wembley. Like, once All In happens, you're going to forget about Redemption anyway.
Yep. And if you want to take Kevin Knight to that next level, you truly do believe that he's going to be that guy. Who of anybody on that roster, maybe other than Ospreay, could get the absolute best out of you in the ring?
Right.
It's Kenny Omega.
Yep.
Like, so that could be something for sure, because we know that Tony Khan is very big on Kevin Knight. He's one of those guys that he's always going to look over and push, sometimes to a fault, which we'll talk about with one of the other signings. But, but he's one of those guys that, and I can at least appreciate this. And I've talked about it on this show about how they need to focus in on some guys, be like, okay, let's push somebody. Let's see where they go. And if they don't work out, they don't work out. Now there has to be some talent evaluation to that. Obviously some good booking that goes behind that. But in this case, they're centered in on a guy and they said, okay, we think he's got the upside to be a main event guy. We're going to do what we can to make him a main event guy. That's certainly an opportunity. Like you mentioned, new pay-per-view for AEW. And we already have an idea of where All In is going to go. Why not take this opportunity to give a guy a chance to see what he's able to do out there? So,
and there's really no risk from the point of view of Kevin Knight losing in that match. Still got the TNT title.
Yep.
Still, can just learn from the opportunity. Doesn't really have a lot to lose. Like, Kyle Fletcher didn't. I know there was a ton of pressure on him, but I didn't think he had a lot to lose. He just needed to show out what he could do. And this would be a big spot. I'm starting to convince myself that this is the
Kevin Knight.
Where they're going to go, especially if MJF is banged up. It does leave you, though, with the question of like if MJF is banged up, what are they doing with Will Ospreay?
Mm-hmm.
Because every time I watch Dynamite and think that there's going to be some dissension between him and Moxley,
it actually just grows, like in terms of like their camaraderie and whatnot.
There isn't.
Yeah. Like I thought there was a point that we would be getting Will Ospreay, John Moxley at Revolution, Redemption.
Yeah.
And the more the TV has been, the more I'm like, oh, this is, I don't even think we're going to see any sort of dissension heading into All In at this point. Like, unless something drastically shifts in the next couple of weeks.
No, but I think it's a good program for Will Ospreay once he wins the title at All In to still be like, it feels a little bit. I think I made this before, but it feels a little Randy Orton Evolution to me, where even if he wins the world title, and Moxley and the Death Rider is still going to be like, you're still in the group, man. Like, don't act like you're bigger than the group.
Yep.
And while he might not be, like, everyone will put the attention on him, and they will get a program out of Ospreay and Moxley afterwards, which I'm not upset about either if they go that route. The only thing I don't like about that, though, is that the Death Riders seem like this, like, cheer squad that, like, we're just here to support Will, and like, what are they going to do after? Like, what is their goal?
Yeah, not the Spirit Squad, of course.
Just, I made sure not to say that word. Kenny Dykstra was also the best.
Oh yeah, that was somebody that could have been getting the push.
Yeah. But man, we're just a couple of weeks out from the pay-per-view, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
My best guess is Omega Kevin Knight and MJF Ospreay as like the main event. But if they wanted to rest either one of those two guys or both of them as a guy going to the show, and if we've all paid good money for the tickets, I'd be a little upset, but I do understand saving those guys for the moment.
Yep.
I mean, Conor McGregor waited 5 years to have a leg injury 5 seconds in, so you can't protect everything.
Yeah, just running right in. Did they not learn from the Ben Askren, Jorge Masvidal fight where you don't run in on a guy? But yeah, no, I also wanted to ask before we get into some of the other ones. Interesting, Willow Nightingale's now healthy, ready to go, and is going to be challenging for that women's championship at Revolution.
Yeah, and I saw a couple of people, like one guy especially, that espresso guy, basically come out and say before, like, if you guys haven't been watching, this is what they're going to do. They've always wanted to do Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné at All In, and they were going to do it another way. And in his mind, he said they were going to do it where, like, it was the opposite, that like it was always going to be Mercedes coming back in the gauntlet, winning the gauntlet, getting the title match. But Willow got hurt, and they kind of switched them around. So I had mentioned that to Ben and Tanner beforehand about, like, this feels like Willow's going to come out. Now, do you have an issue with the fact that, because as correctly pointed out, and I knew it was soon, but I didn't know it was that soon, Willow got hurt in May, at the end of May, and had to give up the TBS championship. They didn't name a TBS champion until when, Zach?
When Hikaru Shida won in the Survival of the Fittest match.
Yeah. And when was that?
That was after the pay-per-view, if I recall. I think it was the Dynamite after the pay-per-view.
It was last week.
Last week.
Like the week before. Like Sunday. It was like not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. Like, it took them that long to put the TBS championship on somebody else, and Willow comes back the very next week. Why didn't she just hang on to it at that point?
Yeah.
Like, if she knew she was coming back, why wouldn't you just have Like what? We were going to go, oh my God, the TBS women's title hasn't been defended in 42 days. Like, isn't that every title? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
we make fun of Liv Morgan all the time with like all of her non-defenses. And
yeah. I still laugh at that because we had a video out being like, look at how little title defenses she's had with the championship. And since then, since she's won it a second time, it's actually gotten worse than the last time in terms of title defense. It's crazy.
But I guess the point is that like they took 2 months to figure out what they were going to do with the TBS title, put it on Hikaru Shida, and then the week after that, the girl who had the title just came back and now has a world title shot.
Yep. I want to take it a step further than Lee. Do you think she was ever injured? Or do you think this was a way for them to kind of get out? Because you look at Hikaru Shida winning the TBS championship. Do you think it would have gone over well if Hikaru Shida beats Willow Nightingale for the TBS championship?
Gone over? Well, with who?
Like when if Willow wasn't hurt.
I know what you're saying, but like you couldn't tell me that Hikaru Shida like took a cheap shot and brought a kendo stick in and knocked out Willow Nightingale behind the referee's back, and that was going to be so upsetting to Willow Nightingale and the rest of AEW that like I don't know if she'll recover from that. We better just let's just strip her of the title because I don't want the embarrassment of like her losing to Hikaru Shida.
In terms of comparable pushes, if you're trying to then lead that to her challenging, I don't know. It just feels weird to me. And
no, I don't disagree with what you're saying. And like, did they ask her to take a vacation? Like, we're gonna actually make you look stronger when you get back.
Yep. That way she doesn't have the visual pinfall or whatnot. And one of the things I also noted from the commentary as well, which Tekla came out for, like, by the way, Tekla was so bad at commentary, it was great. Like Tekla could do no wrong in my eyes, but some of the things she said, what was in that drink? It seemed a little bit something was in that drink. But one of the things that kind of caught me off guard was when she said it's like she wasn't even injured at all, and commentary didn't acknowledge that whatsoever. And I was like, huh, that's really? A little bit. Yeah, if you go back and like,
I went back and watched most of the show again because I watched it on mute, but I have to say I didn't watch the entire gauntlet match again because
I don't blame you.
I saw the whole thing, so it was like, okay, well, I've just missed out on the commentary. Well,
right,
okay, like that doesn't.
Yeah. But on commentary, she says like she wasn't even injured, right? And commentary didn't say anything about it. Commentary just moved on. It was like, oh, Willow Nightingale is here, and blah blah blah. It's like,
oh, I love that.
I saw that's what kind of perked my interest. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting that she would bring that up. And
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Her commentary stuff. I don't know if you saw the quotes coming out of it, but it was something.
Yeah,
else.
I did.
I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how I'd imagine Tekla would say stuff. But yeah. So but that was a notable commentary thing. So that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Even stuff like that, like just on the Tekla, so bad it's good. I agree with you. She can't do anything wrong for me. And she feels like when she comes out, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
In a good way.
Yep. A good unpredictability.
Yes. And I like that a lot. But the fact that she said that, yeah, I can buy into that now.
Yep. That's what kind of piqued my interest. I'm looking, it's like, it wouldn't be the greatest look if you're trying to get the TBS championship off of Willow Nightingale and you feel like you got to put it on Hikaru Shida for your storylines, but Hikaru Shida hasn't exactly been Akira Hokuto out there. So it makes it tougher when you're trying to get Willow Nightingale into this position. Like, it's one thing when it's like a Kyle Fletcher losing to Hangman Adam Page, but he's going to be taken on to this different level, right? Because they had the match. That's not happening with Willow Nightingale against Hikaru Shida. So that's why it kind of was like, oh, maybe they just didn't want her to lose and they didn't see if way forward. It's like, you know what? And maybe Willow did have an injury, but it wasn't as serious. Like, you know what? Let's, flip some pieces around, as you were kind of mentioning earlier. It's like, let's change some stuff around. And And the timing of her coming out the next week after the survival of the fittest match, it's odd to me, Lee. It's just odd.
I didn't like the look of that happening where it took them 2 months to figure out what they're going to do with it. They had quite honestly, not a great survival of the fittest match. And then I thought Hikaru Shida winning it was like, okay. And Persephone was the reason why, and she's not really around. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But then Willow Nightingale comes back the very next week. Huh.
It's just, I'm just adding some dots. And I could be wrong. It's all interesting to me. I don't mind it, for the record, in terms of getting a Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné match, because that's been something they've been building forever. Obviously, it sounds like it's going to be at the expense of maybe my favorite women's wrestler currently in Tekla, but I get it from that standpoint.
Do you think that Tekla can continue? It feels the international part of Tekla being from Austria and fighting someone from Stardom at the International All-In show is what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that she can continue her momentum?
I think she can. I think with the Stardom involvement as well, I think that helps with that too. That's something that they could do. They've still been trying to get some Stardom people involved on the shows, whether it be in that gauntlet. The name's escaping me because Stardom is not a promotion I generally watch a lot of, but that's certainly a path that they could go down. They introduced it onto the AEW programming at Forbidden Door, and it's established. And if you want to have it carry over from that Forbidden Door show, I think that's something that they could do for All In. And I certainly believe that Tekla deserves a spot, at least on the card.
Yeah,
I think she's worked. I'll be honest, I'm generally not one of those people who's like, this person deserves it. This person deserves it. Oh, they've deserved it. Like, a lot of these wrestlers have gone through the path of working the indies or whatever. It's have they earned that spot, in my mind, more than deserved it. And in my mind, I think Tekla's more than earned an opportunity to at least be on the card for All In front of all those people. So if it's against a Stardom wrestler, it makes a lot of sense. Still a focal point for her. And certainly will help motivate her for eventually getting into a women's title match at one of the future All-Ins if need be. But I think that's something that they could certainly go down.
All right. Before we leave AEW, you mentioned at the beginning, and I thought that this would happen as well, that we would see Hangman Page on Dynamite. I believe that we were going to see that. We didn't. We saw Will Ospreay, but yes, Hangman Page was then announced that he would come out and start Collision in Roanoke, Virginia. And he did. What did you take from what Hangman had to say at the beginning of Collision? And I'll just preface it by saying, for me, he is one of the most believable wrestlers I have watched in a very long time. It doesn't feel forced. It feels like when he's talking about gardening and he's talking about what he was doing and where he's going to go, he just is so believable when he talks and like who he is and all that stuff. So he's one of the best promos to me in the game because I believe every word he's saying. And I don't feel that way with everyone talking Kevin Knight.
I think Kevin Knight's getting better, but there's still ways to go. I think he's getting pushed a little too soon.
I don't think he's getting better. I actually think his promos are getting worse. So
I don't know if I could. I think we both agree. I think it's, if you want to push that guy, I think it's too soon. But I do think he's getting a little bit better. But I think it's put up or shut up time with him at this point if you're going to push him this way. But in terms of Hangman, yes, I agree with all of that. I think he's one of the more believable promos, one of the best promos in pro wrestling. I think he's been that way for a while. I remember going to that first Dynamite show in Toronto and him cutting that promo with Moxley. And man, that is just hearing that live was just.
Huh. Where did Zach go? It's the question that we're all asking ourselves, but do we have an answer? You know what? The great thing is that it feels like Zach is still talking somewhere. Probably to himself, which is amazing at this point. But what's he actually saying? I don't know. But I will answer my own question at this point. And we hope that Zach comes back. At least let me know in the chat. Yeah, that he lost his connection. I just wanted to make sure. So for Hangman Page, he gets out there and he explains basically what has happened, that he's been home resting and gardening, doing all of this, thinking, and that while the stipulation, and I thought that this is very interesting. So when we do get Zach back here, I am going to ask him that he specifically brought up in the promo about that it's not in pen, it's not in ink, it's not filed away in a cabinet, the stipulation. But the stipulation lives within his body, in his soul. And he is a man of his word. And he is going to honor the fact that he will never challenge, as he said, for the AEW Men's World Heavyweight Championship. Again. Skew says Zach's internet feed took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Rich is like, and you know what they hate in Albuquerque? Sauerkraut. Excellent, guys. Excellent. See, the problem here, too, is that while Zach, I think, still has the link, he's probably texted me, but my phone's in the other room, which is probably not a good thing. So he's probably either texting me or calling me like, oh, don't worry, I'm going to do this, or I need you to do this. Well, guess what? I hope he still has the link. And Rich says he'll be in town the same night as we are all in for Montreal for AEW. Who are you talking about, Rich? Oh, Albuquerque. Okay. So Hangman gets up there and he says like he's going to honor his word, and the stipulation lives in him, and he's going to live up to that. And then he goes on to say he doesn't know what he's going to do, but he riles through the other champions. Kyle Fletcher, the international champion. He actually called Kevin Knight my former partner and current dipshit. The TNT champion, Kevin Knight. He brought up John Moxley's name, the Continental champion. And said he doesn't know where he's going to go, but he does see miles and miles of racetrack ahead of him. That's right. Weird Al Yankovic. Albuquerque. Which is crazy because I actually know someone that wanted to go to the Redemption show, and I won't say who it is, but he's like, unfortunately, I got tickets and I'm going to take my grandson to Weird Al. And I'm like, you're missing Redemption in Montreal because you're going to see Weird Al Yankovic? Yeah, well, got to spend time with the grandson. Yeah, I guess. So this Zach thing happening without my phone near me Is like, do we believe that his internet is still down? Has he called me? Has he told me to do something different? I don't think I can send him a new link. Can send him the same link over and over again to make sure he has it, but pretty sure he has it already. So must be a full Belleville thing. So I want to know from you on the chat, because I have my thoughts too, but Rich and Skuse and Stardust Tesla and all the people that are listening right now, what do we think about the stip and how long it's going to be adhered to? Is it ever going to be broken? Are they going to get around it by the fact that somebody else is going to challenge Hangman as the world champion? So he is the one that does not have to challenge? And do they kind of reverse course where the champion continues to track down Hangman over and over and over again until he finally says yes? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Now, go back to where you were. Are you back?
I think I'm back. I am running off of my phone, as you can tell. Hopefully it sounds decent enough, but the Wi-Fi just cut out here at beautiful Belleville. So
Bodacious.
You just gotta love when we go live.
Bodacious, Zach.
Oh, I see. Bodacious Belleville.
Yeah, it's not beautiful with the internet going out. See, I was wondering, I didn't have my phone on me, and I'm like,
No.
has he called? Has he texted? Like, we're all going back and forth. Me and Skuse and Rich, and like, where'd he go? Like, he's just out.
Yep. I was right in the middle of my Hangman talk and trying to get my Hangman stuff over, and then the Wi-Fi cut off, and so now I was just left scrambling and trying to find some sort of a solution. Hopefully this will carry over, just getting it solved right now. So this will only be temporary until we get the Wi-Fi fully resolved.
Yeah. Zach got abducted by the Death Riders. Excuse said he's gone.
Yeah, no, no John Moxley interference on this one. No getting tied up in a bag like Darby Allin style and having something blow up in my face. The only thing that blew up in my face in this case is the internet, but they're just trying to get this resolved as quickly as possible.
You've made this work eventually. I mean, we were doing fine on our own, but like, see, there's like a 3-second delay, but I know to leave it to like, okay, when I tell a joke, I got to be quiet for like 2 seconds, and then Zach will get it. Which is, par for the course anyway with some of my jokes. So we were talking about Hangman and the fact that he mentioned, Zach, that the stip is not written down. It's not in the filing cabinet. It is not stored away, but it does live inside him. And he's a man of his word. He's going to honor that, and he will never challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship again. And he went through all of the different champions: Kyle Fletcher, John Moxley, Kevin Knight. He didn't mention the tag belts and like finding a partner, but obviously that is possible too. The big question is, did he mention on purpose again that the stip is not written down in a contract and doesn't live in a filing cabinet written down, but it does live in his soul? That, do we think that the end of this is going to be that whenever this is, and it might not be for a year, it might not be for like, I have no idea, but do we think the ending of this is that the champion is literally hunting down Hangman every step until Hangman accepts? So therefore, he's not challenging anybody. In fact, he's trying to be a man of his word. He's trying to live up to the deal that he made. But whoever the champion is so hell-bent on getting him in the ring that they're going to do the challenging. They're going to be the ones that make this match happen, and that Hangman will go on and win the AEW world title, even though he never, quote unquote, challenged for it. Do we think that that's the ending of this story? Zach is dead quiet at this point. He doesn't hear me at all. Oh boy. See, I thought he was actually listening.
I think that's an interesting scenario you lay out there when it comes to Hangman. And stream going. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah, I just removed him, folks. We'll see if he gets a better link. But excuses. We got that WrestleMania 2 delay. Oh, do I remember that? Do I remember that from closed circuit TV going to the Markham Centennial Arena to watch, and they had to go to LA, Chicago, and New York, and Mr. T and Roddy Piper to Hogan and Bundy, the Bulldogs winning in Chicago. And that's very funny. So I do think this is going to happen. That the champion's going to track down Hangman. I guess the question is, who do we think that champion is going to be? Is it going to be a face that wants to get the stipulation off of Hangman, so they're actually doing it for the greater good, like a Will Ospreay? Or is this a heel that Hangman almost does this reverse psychology? Oh, folks, I think he actually might be really back.
I think we're really back. Can you hear?
I can hear you too clearly. Okay. Oh. So again, I'm not going to go over this because we've just sort of repeated it a couple times. But I don't know if you heard the entire thing I said about Hangman and being the one to not want to wrestle, and it's the champion that's literally like tracking him down to get him to fight and doing everything they can to get him to fight, even though he doesn't want to fight. And then the question I had was like, do you think that that's a face trying to do the greater good to get Hangman back into the world title picture because he deserves more? He's done so much for the business that this can be a face like Will Ospreay trying to do this for the greater good of everybody? Or is this a full heel where Hangman does a few dastardly things to say MJF, and MJF can't get his revenge, and he can't get there, and he can't face him, and so he basically has no other option is to just get him in the ring and give him a world title match, because it's the only way he can actually get at him, as Hangman's torturing him from the outside. And is it that way? Do we think, first of all, that this is the way that this is going to end?
With the involvement of the Death Riders. By the way, I did hear you the first time, but I guess it was just a delay that was too long that before I hopped on, so that's okay. But in terms of the Death Riders' involvement in this, it would make sense in terms of the story that Jon Moxley has put forth since he's been with the Death Riders about wanting to have a better company in AEW. Now, I didn't love that sort of angle to begin with, because you're just kind of implying that the company sucks at that point. And we've seen how that's worked well in pro wrestling history in the past. But in this case, in terms of wanting to get a betterment, I look at this more as an angle where if they wanted to turn Hangman back heel, this is a way that he could go back on the deal and people would boo it. And so there are different ways that they could go with the Hangman. Yeah, like I think there are different ways they could go. That's why, like, you know, there was a lot of, I don't want to say outrage, certainly a lot of shock when Hangman had lost and didn't get that title opportunity. There was a lot of concern out there about the future direction of the story, but I thought it was something different and new and different avenues of storytelling that they could go down with this. And Hangman's a good enough wrestler, more than good enough wrestler, to be able to pull it off. Plus, the big difference between he and Cody Rhodes at that point is that Cody Rhodes had not won the AEW World Championship already. You hadn't seen the AEW World Champion Cody Rhodes. In this case, you have seen AEW World Champion Hangman Page. So that makes it a little bit more different where you kind of see it now. You could build up that anticipation, be like, man, I want to see that again. I want to see him get back into that world championship picture. And the Death Riders being involved with that could absolutely be a thing. That could be part of the storyline, and you could incorporate Ospreay still, because I think this stuff with Ospreay and Moxley, I think we are kind of set in stone in some cases of there's going to be a turn involving Moxley and Ospreay. But this could be something that could be spread out for another couple of months as opposed to building up and climaxing over at All In. I think they could do something where you could, I don't want to say delay the storyline, but like extend the storyline a little bit further and add some of the interesting elements now that you've got Hangman in the picture. I think that's something you could do way down the line. So there's a lot of interesting ways to do it. I thought the promo he cut on Collision was really, really good. Like you said, just a believable promo, somebody you could buy into. I don't know if I'm loving the haircut that he had. Not my favorite hairstyle for the Hangman, but in terms of as an overall character,
he's a gardener, man. He can't.
It's true.
He can't be having long hair in the garden every day. It's hot.
Clearly he took like Bruce the Barber Beefcake's shears or whatever and used that to cut off some of his longer hair. But yeah, no, this is it's an interesting path that they could go down with Hangman. So
number one, I don't think he's ever going to go heel.
You know, at this point, he's just going to stay babyface?
Yeah, because I don't know that he could do enough. Like, what is he going to do to go heel where people are actually going to boo him? He lit Swerve's house on fire. He's the biggest babyface other than Ospreay in the company. He lit and burned down a childhood home and sat there on a rocking chair in front of it. It's one of the things that's going to live in infamy in AEW that you're going to remember. And people don't boo that guy. I think that guy is a baby face now until the end. Like, because he's got that, I want to cheer for him, like a little bit underdog. I just want to see him rise. Mm-hmm. And even if he goes heel, I think half the crowd's going to cheer him anyway. Like, I just do.
Yep.
And so for me, I wouldn't do that. I would have him challenge, and he's out there, right? And he's challenging Kyle Fletcher, and he's calling Kevin Knight a dipshit. And like, there's lots of paths for him to go where he can stay on as a babyface and end up conquering those guys and even wearing those belts. But it feels like the mentioning of that it's not written down on a piece of paper and them saying that again, because we heard Tony Khan say that in the press conference after when Hangman lost, but there's Hangman out again saying on TV, this is not a contractual thing. It's just, it lives within me. And that to me is the key part of that, where they're going to play off of that and have somebody basically torture him to go back on his word and actually have the match. The question to me is whether you have a good guy do that for the betterment. Like, is it a Death Rider thing where it's Ospreay and Moxley and they're trying to do the best thing for everybody? And they finally see, to me, the ending of this is probably Ospreay or Moxley or both. The Death Riders, just like you said, the betterment of the group, the betterment of everything. And they finally, after like a year, just do everything, like, and their TV just goes on for months about trying to get him to, you know, not go back on it, but hey, what if I challenge you? No. And just keep going after it and like beating him down. And he finally gets the match, and that's when he turns heel. He turns heel when they finally talk him into it, and he does something really, really dastardly and ends up beating Ospreay or beating Moxley for the title. probably Ospreay. Now you have a real heel and a real, like, Ospreay spent a goddamn year trying to get him back to be the Hangman of old and the face of the company. And remember when Hangman got the title and it was Will Ospreay or Hangman got the shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was Will Ospreay rallying everybody around to help Hangman beat Moxley to bring the title back. And it was Ospreay going around getting everybody to help. It feels like they can go back to that same thing and get Ospreay can go around and as the champion do everything and just nothing is going to work. And finally, whatever it is at the end works. And that's when Hangman turns heel. That's when he wins the title. And he not only wins the title, but can become a heel in the best way because he was the guy that tried to not take that match. And then he finally took it because he had no other option and everybody pressured him into it. Then he took it and then he did something really dastardly and won the title. And now Ospreay chases him for a long time. It just feels like that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't like it if it was like MJF. I mean, I would like it. I like MJF and Hangman, but it would be my second choice of it being MJF trying to get him to, like, Page just basically is like, I don't care. I never get to challenge for the title anyway. And he just tortures MJF.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, at the end of it, MJF has somehow won this world title back from Ospreay. And finally, MJF is just like, I can't get him in the ring and I have to get him in the ring. So I'm going to give him a shot and I'm going to force him to take the match. They could do that too, because it would be really funny TV for a long time with Hangman not giving a crap because he knows he's not going to get a world title match anyway. So he is just torturing MJF because he knows he'll never have to face him.
Yep.
As MJF being the champion, he'll never have to face him. So he can do anything he wants to him, and MJF can't get retribution. He can't get redemption.
There you go.
Yeah, and it leads to next year's redemption. No.
It's all part of the plan.
I thought they did a good job at getting the story over, that it doesn't live on paper, but it lives inside him.
Yep.
And for the next little while, could you see Kyle Fletcher and Hangman Page? Yes.
Absolutely.
Could you see Kevin Knight and Hangman Page? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And your favorite one of them, Kevin Knight and Konosuke Takeshita, if you want to.
Yeah. If Takeshita wins it back from Fletcher.
Yep.
I mean,
I know he'd be a babyface at that point, but
Moxley's the other guy, right? With the Continental Championship. Yeah. That he can still wrestle. And like, does he take on a partner and win the tag belts? I mean, he was a trios champion, for God's sakes, with job speed. By the way, one of them has gotten out of that job speed reputation. I can tell you the other one has not.
Still not, Speedball needs some work to do, I would imagine.
Well, he loses every title match. In fact, his gimmick now is going on and saying, I know Speedball's lost every title match I've ever been in, but man, I'm still working hard, folks. That's his gimmick now. Like, how many matches can you lose in the main event of Collision to Mark Davis? I don't know. I can't even tell you the last time Speedball won a match.
It's been a while. Not as featured as much.
No. I don't want to say the Marty Jannetty, but man, it's starting to feel that way.
In terms of push, you certainly could make an argument. Alas.
It's an interesting scenario, though. I think they got a lot of, like, their long-term storytelling is so much better right now than the WWE's.
Oh, With sometimes unpredictability, you look, it's like, oh, it's unpredictable because they have no idea what they're doing and it comes across on screen.
Right.
This one, it feels like there's a plan and it's like, okay, I'm interested to see where they go. They clearly have something up their sleeve. But with the WWE right now, it just feels like it's a lot of like, we're going to do this, but then we're going to pull back on this. We're going to go down this angle. And oh no, ticket sales aren't so great. We got to go down this path. And it's just,
yeah. And then you see all the reports about it's going to be a very lengthy title run for CM Punk.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. So then you tell us that now. And then we're supposed to be completely invested in Cody and CM Punk at SummerSlam.
Get fired up.
The best thing out of WWE this past while is Paul Walter Hauser and Jim Cornette. Yeah, I don't have a lot of time for either of those guys.
Well, that's also more MLW than WWE, but I know that, I saw some of that stuff. Paul Walter Hauser saying that Nick Bockwinkel wasn't very good, or implying that
which is just crazy. Like Nick Bockwinkel didn't have the most charisma in the world. There's a reason they put Bobby Heenan with him.
Mm-hmm. Great speaker, though. Funny enough,
but that's what I meant. Like when he just spoke, he didn't raise his voice.
Yep.
He didn't, and he could get his point across.
Mm-hmm.
And in the ring, he was fantastic.
Oh, tremendous wrestler.
To say that he wasn't good is just, you see so much of this now, though, on the internet where people just say things and you're like, I'm so glad I am not taking the time to dig into this and actually feel anything about what you're talking about because I don't care about you.
Like, could there be an argument you can make of like, oh, this guy's work hasn't aged as well compared to other wrestlers? I could hear that argument, but to say he was never good is just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you have to understand the context of the time, but yeah, I know. I saw that too with the Paul Walter Hauser stuff. I think it's commendable that an Emmy award winning guy is do it in his spare time. You know what I'm just going to do? I'm going to wrestle on MLW because why not? Yep. Like he has no reason to, but I can respect that. But just because you're doing that does not mean you have the high authority on what pro wrestling knowledge and
exactly.
So, anyway,
well, Zach, that's going to do it for us. Internet and all, you can figure it out.
We're back online. Apologies on that.
No, that's not your fault. No, that's part of doing live shows, man. You made it work.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's been a long time since we had something like that happen, even in the pre-recorded stuff. So,
yep.
I mean, we were due one, so I guess it'd rather be on a Sunday night. But
exactly.
It's that's how it goes. I guess we'll save the overpushed wrestlers talk for a later time.
We will save it. An hour 40 and we got lots coming up, but we're gonna mix in some of those things as we go along. Like I said, huge week. So just to set up the week for you, if you're listening right now and it's Monday or even if it's Tuesday, yes, you have Monday Night Raw, I guess. I don't know. I don't see a lot coming out of that, but Wednesday we're going to get, hopefully, because I thought this Wednesday we were going to get a clear path to redemption. We didn't. We got a world title change. We got an international title change. We got a new challenger for the women's title. Like, we had a lot going on Dynamite, but not a clear path to redemption.
Yeah.
Feel like we're going to get that on Wednesday. Then,
hopefully so.
Then Wednesday night at midnight, technically Thursday morning, but I don't like when people say that because then you're like, was it Thursday at midnight? Like, no, it's Wednesday at midnight.
Whenever I have to write up stuff in the news, I always ask whenever I get information if it happened around that time. Like, can you just specify that we're talking Wednesday midnight, as in like it was 11 o'clock Wednesday and 12 o'clock Wednesday after that? Like, that's good. I always ask for that specification.
Excellent. Because it gets confusing if people don't say it right. So Wednesday night late, the debut of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling on TSN and outside of Canada, myaew.com. I skipped over the fact that Tuesday night is the third and final part 3 of the Jeff Jarrett TNA story on Dark Side of the Ring. We will have a review after that because we have both watched the first 2, which have been excellent. So we'll do a review on that. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, we're going to have separate shows on that to hopefully push that a little bit in the next 6 months. And then what's the one I'm missing on Thursday is
well, there would be the Dynamite Wednesday, of course, and then
the Dynamite Wednesday, the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, and the Dark Side of the Ring. All of those things happening this week. And then as we get into next week, we have WWE Unreal and then Redemption coming up on July 26th. And then the following weekend is 2 nights of SummerSlam.
Have you seen those ticket sales for SummerSlam, Lee?
I have, and I'm not going to bash them because, look, the Wembley sales, it's a month later, so they have more time. The Wembley sales haven't been terrific anyway. They're a little bit ahead of where SummerSlam is, but again, SummerSlam's on 2 nights and Wembley's on All-In's on 1. So I'm not gonna like fully take them to task yet, but this whole idea of jacking up the prices and making it 2 nights, and like we're gonna start. It feels like we're already on the road starting to see the fallout of that when your product and your storylines haven't been as good. And the fallout from that is that people aren't going to go and pay exorbitant amount of money to sell out 50,000 seats on both nights.
And also the product's not as hot as it was
it just
in order to justify those prices. Because for all we say about the prices is totally justified, they were at least selling out a lot of those shows. It's like, well, if they're selling out the shows, like, is it really that high if people are paying for it? But now you gotta look at because I agree with you. Wembley was looking rough. It was hovering around that 25,000 for a long, long time. I think that's why you started to see more of these matches being announced because they want to. Plus, they did a 50% off deal recently. That helped them in terms of ticket sales. But yeah, I saw. I didn't realize how low the SummerSlam sales were until I saw and you're like, oh boy, this is not good. So we'll see more. I mean, who knows? Once they announce more matches, maybe they'll kickstart a little.
Yeah, and putting the title back on Punk obviously took more time than they thought, and they gave Sami Zayn the 9 days, but like they just got the title back on Punk, and I think they expect that that's going to move some tickets when they've just announced as we sit here on Friday night, right? It was Cody and Punk getting in the ring and going, okay, SummerSlam.
Yep.
Does that sell? Because on paper, a couple of the matches don't look that bad. It's just whether it can translate over to a 2-night event that people are really going to care about. But Brock and Oba can sell. They just haven't done Punk and Cody properly to lead up. Like it's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But Rich says buying tickets for AEW the next few days. Last we checked, you can still sit floor for 150. Yeah, we paid a little bit more than that, but I'd rather not be on the floor. Like when you're on the floor in the back, I think that's worse than being in a lot of the different seats around the arena, personally.
Yeah. It is a bit overrated when it comes to that. In terms of being on the floor and
no, I'm not a big. If you're not in the first, to me, like I don't know, 10 for
rows.
sure.
Yeah,
10 for sure. But like I was thinking 6 or 7.
Yep.
Then for me, it's not. I'd rather be in the stands where I can see.
Yep.
And we have good seats. We're gonna get on TV.
Yeah, we're pretty happy about the seats we were able to get. Yeah. So
we're gonna be on TV.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Opposite the hard cam, in the stands where the shot is. Like we should be on TV.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a sign since we're on TV that says Paul Levesque fears Zach McGibbon, just to get myself over.
No, you're not.
And,
I'm not.
And then I'll get kicked out of the building outside of Montreal and just clearly a vendetta against me, right? And so no, I'm not going to do that. Of course.
We were thinking about wearing conglomerate shirts with our own faces on it,
Yes.
but looking like the conglomerate, like with Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly and
You're talking about the conglomeration.
the conglomeration.
Yes.
That's not going over well with everybody.
Not including some of the people on the stream potentially. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the idea. I don't love the idea. I'm not the only one in the group, but
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't mind when people, Zach, don't like the idea. But you know what those people need to do, Zach? I think you know the answer to this. If you don't like the idea, no problem. Like, hey, not for you. What is for you? What's your idea of what we should do? And I hear crickets. This wasn't even my idea, the conglomeration shirt. So I'm not even getting credit for it. I don't want to. I just think, yeah, that'd be funny. But I'm also open to other funny ideas. But if people don't have good ideas, you don't get to say, oh, no, that's a terrible idea.
Well, you know me, Lee. I'm usually somebody that's just like, you know what? Similar to my wrestling. I just want to go there.
I know.
I want to watch the shows. But, you know, we gotta gimmick it up.
We all dressed up for the 40th birthday party of
Le Champion.
Was it the 40? No. Was it his stag and doe or like his bachelor party?
It was a bachelor party.
It wasn't his birthday.
Yep.
We all dressed up, but you didn't. So
no, I was a lone person.
Yeah. No,
did Tanner dress up as well?
No, he didn't. And he should be mocked for that.
See, I'm just gonna say I've been taking the brunt of that, but you know, I wasn't the only person that was.
He's not the host of the show, though.
It's true. I am a little bit more front facing when it comes to that.
I would say, like,
yeah.
So
you know what? Excellent rebuttal. I can't really counter. I was like, yeah, see, but
yeah, Tanner didn't like.
Yeah.
Okay,
but you're right. You know, as somebody that has a face on this show, and when the internet works, when I have to show my face on this show, you know, obviously I got to be able to take that. But yeah, it was funny. Like, here I am, just in my regular attire. Right beside me is Mankind, and to the back of me is the Painmaker, Chris Jericho, and Ric Flair's behind me as well. Then there's me being like, oh, I'm just here to watch wrestling. And I got my little notebook out, taking some notes, you know.
Yeah. So all of this to say, Zach, you don't like the t-shirts? Cool. What's your plan?
Yeah. My plan is I'm going to sit down. I'm going to take in the shows. I'll kick back in my seat and just be like, oh, that's a great
Zach, the answer is what Stardust Tesla is saying. The TI Dub merch where we can wear on TV. Are you going, Stardust Tesla, to the event? Well, I'm going to Raw at CTC August 24th.
we potentially might have something for that too coming up.
We're going to be there.
Yeah, we are going to be there. That's for sure.
In fact, I feel like this week we're going to take a step to not only be there, but making sure that people know about the event.
Yes, that's that'll be something. And let it be put on the record. I love double E.
See, you're not Zach. This is like the show takes us places that you need to find a line.
Yes,
that is not as sarcastic as the one that you just laid out.
Lee, I love double E.
You can do that tonight, Zach. Okay. Yes. But you're actually going to like love the fact that we are able to bring maybe some people to that event.
Yes.
So and
hopefully we can get the kinks worked out on that, but
and have TI Dub be a part of sort of the wrestling community in Ottawa.
Yep.
And they're coming. And how about this? I'm going to say this out loud. Okay. First of all, Stardust Tesla says maybe. Oh, thanks, Zach. Oh, sorry.
Safety Sam.
Safety Sam, are you going?
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, come on, Stardust Tesla. We're all going. Like, we'll. I don't know if there's room in the van, but we'll drive you. Like, come on, go with us. Says I've come close to making my own TIW merch.
Earl Hebner over here.
Don't want to get sued though.
Yeah. Again, Earl Hebner over there. That's a very inside niche spot. But
yeah, no, I understand it. Look, I think we'd be flattered if you made your own TIW merch. I think the idea is to have TIW merch. It's just not everything happens overnight. That's all.
Yep. It's something that we have heard for a while, and we have taken note.
Yeah, it is sort of in the plans. The bigger works for OSN. This is wrestling to have a, not only a partnership, we're going to be together, but like with a bigger launch coming up in the fall, you're going to see more of the OSN brand, and you're going to see more of TIW.
Yep.
This is wrestling. So that I can tell you just doesn't happen overnight. I need more of a commitment from Stardust Tesla. Like, are you going or not?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could go. Maybe I don't go.
You need street volunteers. So I am going to say this out loud. Part of the Canadian Tire Center WWE partnership has reached out to This Is Wrestling to help, I think all come together to make sure people are enjoying wrestling in the nation's capital, which I think is flattering that they have reached out to us. I don't ever think, Zach, an influencer can be said in the same breath.
Whoa.
But
because when you look at us, you think influencer, right? We're on TikTok and we've got the object in our hand and we're like clicking the thing to try and get the ASMR. It's like,
yeah,
oh, this is my item here. You hear the sound of that? Like that's not us. That's not us at all.
Not quite, but
no.
Look, it's flattering that that they have reached out, and I think in our own way we're going to be able to help some people get to a pretty cool wrestling event. Do I love Monday Night Raw? Sometimes no, but when it's coming 15 minutes down the street and people who do like it have an ability to go and watch a live TV show that's going to be on Netflix around the world. I love the fact that people like wrestling enough to want to be a part of that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I do, like, I'm going to go because I want to see the crowd and I want to have other wrestling fans around, because not every wrestling fan is just a WWE fan and not an AEW fan and all that stuff. Like, you don't have to pick sides all the time. One can be better than the other, or you like something more than you do something else. But like, we've been a part of, and Zach, you're a big part of the wrestling community in Ottawa with Acclaim and Remix. And we've had our good friend Mark Polisel on, the head of C4. And we love the C4 shows and some of the wrestlers that are involved in that. Wrestling matters here in Ottawa. And if a big event's coming to Ottawa and somebody has reached out to us to be able to help with that, we're going to help. This isn't I don't prefer WWE thing over AEW right now, because everyone knows who listens to the show that right now we're a little bit more in the lane of other things other than that. But this is bigger than just what you like and what you don't like. It's about the wrestling community and fans in the nation's capital. And we care about those people immensely.
Absolutely.
And if people want to go and people, we can help with that, we're going to help with that. And I am like, that excites me. I I don't need to tell you that they're the greatest company in the world for you to go to the event, because those things are different.
Yep.
And I just want to make that really clear, because I'm really excited that they've reached out. I'm really excited that we can help bring the wrestling community together wherever that is. And I understand why people are excited to go to a show that's going to air worldwide that's 15 minutes down the street. That's a cool thing.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, we joke, but like what you said, I think you really put that well. If there's ever an opportunity, because we know what our audience is too, we have a great mix of wrestling fans that follow us. Like, we have WWE fans that listen to us, AEW fans, and they all get equally mad at us when we don't praise their promotion hard enough. So it works out great for everybody. But all that to say, yeah, if an opportunity like this, like when this came up, it's something obviously being worked on. So it's something that we're pursuing. But when this came up, we were both like, oh, this is great. This is going to be something that it's also, like, selfishly, it's a recognition of us and what we've been able to do with this podcast and reaching out to local wrestling fans. So that also helps a lot. So hopefully something comes to fruition on that. But either way, we will be there.
Yeah.
And we will be at Monday Night Raw. Hopefully we'll see some people there soon. But all I will say is, if you haven't got tickets yet for the Monday Night Raw show, I would wait a little bit, because we might be able to help you out with that.
Yeah, Rich says that. And look, I can't promise anything, but I do think that we understand that there are some loyal people that have, like, this isn't about us getting bigger more than it is representing a wrestling crowd that we want to have more recognition themselves. And so I think I just look at it like it's all of us. It's me, it's you, Zach. It's, some of the great people that listen, as you said, like, that are either independent wrestling fans or AEW fans or WWE fans or whatever you are. If you're listening and you're a part of the community, that's the cool part of this, is that we're all in the same community together.
Exactly.
And to be able to help bring people together, I'm going to do that. You're going to do that every single time, no matter what. Like, the fact that a company has reached out for us to do that is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Rich says, I only get mad when you don't make enough content. Well, like I said at the beginning, Rich, and you were here for that, the amount of content that is coming is going to be a lot. Because, like I said, we're going to do separate shows on Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, Dark Side of the Ring, and WWE Unreal, which don't have anything to do with our regular kind of weekly shows or the shorts that we do. And that's only on This Is Wrestling. Again, we are sort of branching out and have a bigger team, and with OSN going to be doing some Senators and some Red Blacks and some minor hockey and some junior hockey and some.
I'll be here in Belleville for the Belleville Sens. There'll be
exactly.
B-Sens coverage as well, so that'll be something exciting.
Yeah, I don't think, if you love wrestling and you care somewhat about sports, like in Ottawa or even Eastern Ontario, or like, we're going to cover the NFL, we're going to do all kinds of things too. So content will not be an issue. And even on This Is Wrestling, it's actually insane the amount of stuff that's coming up.
Right.
That we're going to be doing. Oh, I get mad when you guys don't have content. Well, it feels like in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be doing something almost every night.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, but it's almost a little overwhelming where you're like, okay, so this week, Monday Night Raw is on Monday, Dark Side of the Ring is on Tuesday, AEW, Dynamite, and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then we get
Friday, a little bit of a reprieve Thursday.
SmackDown Friday, Collision Saturday, and then the next week, WWE Unreal starts.
Yep.
And then Redemption's in Montreal. We're going to have the van shows coming up, like, to and from. And then it's a double SummerSlam weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend after that. Like, it's the summer. It's supposed to be relaxing time.
It's not for us. In fact, we're going pedal to the metal.
Exactly.
Oh.
And we might have a a little bit of a partnership to help people get to Monday Night Raw in August on the 24th at the Canadian Tire Center. So
yeah,
it's all good. What's coming up for sure. So that's going to end it for us now, though, on a Sunday night when we even get to the overpushed wrestlers of all time, and we're 2 hours in. Because that's why we do
what we do. Can we highlight one last comment before we go off the air?
Yes.
Can we highlight the most recent Hyper Turbo Excuse 95 comments? They put it there. Thank you. Zach McGibbon did nothing wrong. Amen to that, brother. I appreciate that. That'll be a shirt coming up.
See, you would. I was coming up with like a team idea. There's going to be 6 of us in the row. Like, what can we do together as a group? Because that's what I care about, folks. I care about the bigger picture. Meanwhile, Excuse and Zach McGibbon just making sure that they're okay.
Just got to keep myself over, brother. That's how we're looking at it.
So then do I wear a shirt? Zach actually did something wrong?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then you can point. It's the pointing shirt.
How's your name in it? And you don't really care what kind of advertising you get as long as your name's on it.
That's right. Well, if I learned anything from Eric Bischoff, it's that any publicity is good publicity, and that has never backfired on him whatsoever in his career. So why can I not just listen to him when it comes to that? So,
oh boy,
tugging the collar.
Hold on. What did Rich say? Don't make me laugh. You'll out me for not watching this movie with my wife. Like what? You got an earphone in and you're watching this movie with your wife and listening to This Is Wrestling and on your phone to be able to type in the chat the entire time? Rich, either number one, your wife is very, very naive. I'm going to think she's not because she's with you. So I'll say she knows what you're doing and she just doesn't care. Like being beside you or near you is enough for her. She doesn't need more from you. Like, he's listening to something else, whatever. And I want to know what movie it is.
That's another great point.
Because it feels like a Sunday night Hallmark movie type of night. And I'm not going to lie, Zach. Love was on the right course yesterday as I watched a Hallmark golf movie that had Kara Wagland and Mark
Masters?
No, like is it Zecchio, the golf guy?
Oh, okay, yes.
Zecchio.
Yes.
Mark Zecchio and Kara Wagland were like the golf commentators on the desk. But I will assure you that Love was on the right course as a golf movie. You know what? I can't believe I'm saying this at the end. I have a guilty pleasure of Hallmark movies, and I'm not super embarrassed about it because I'll tell you why I watch them. I'm not a huge movie person. I watch them because it actually gives me a reprieve knowing for the next 2 hours there's going to be no conflict at all. There will be one simple miscommunication about 7 minutes to go in the movie, which will make the people that we know are getting together the entire time look like they're not going to get together in the end because of they either overheard something wrong or there was some sort of miscommunication. But don't worry, Zach, it all gets fixed. And when you can watch a Hallmark movie and I was watching it by myself, so I couldn't. But when you're watching a Hallmark movie and you can bet with somebody else on when the first kiss happens, like within a minute or two, and when it shocks you when all of a sudden like they're only an hour 10 in and they do kiss and you're like, what are they going to do for 50 minutes? Like, I just don't even know what the answer is here. It's quite fun.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, Rich says, I also love Hallmark movies. It's just because there's no conflict. Like, It's just very relaxing. Everything's
It's funny you say that as we host a wrestling podcast where the whole thing is about conflict and, well, theoretically speaking, sometimes there's spooky, sometimes there's ghosts, sometimes there's other things. I rant about that on this show. But overall, the idea of pro wrestling should be conflict. So it's funny that you're like, oh, Hallmark, it's just
I need to get away from the conflict. Yeah.
You know, fair enough. Sometimes you need a change of direction.
Just a bit of a reprieve.
Yeah.
Apparently the movie's called Normal. And it's an action bloody shoot me up.
Shoot 'em up.
Shoot 'em up. It stars Bob Odenkirk. This means nothing to me.
No, Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk.
See, I'm not a movie guy, but this means something to me. As Rich says, Hot Frosty took me down the Hallmark hole. Yeah, because our girl Lacey was in that.
Wow.
Lacey Chabert, who you're not even old enough to remember her in Party of Five.
No.
But now she's the Hallmark queen. Like, you just start typing Lacey into Google, and I guarantee you her name is going to come up.
Oh, she was in Mean Girls. Okay.
Mean Girls.
Yeah.
But she's done like a million Hallmark movies. She's the queen of Hallmark.
I just has a note here that says Chabert also appeared in more than 40 Hallmark Channel movies.
See? Also know people that film them around Ottawa, and that some were filmed here, and they're great. Yeah, they're filmed here like a bunch. They're like, they go to Almont all the time on that little road in Almont, which is very picturesque and Christmassy. There was one in Carleton Place. There was one like I would go into work downtown in the market, and you used to work there too.
Yep.
They'd be doing shooting in the market all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They did. I believe that Hot Frosty one was in Brockville.
Yes.
The main part of it was in Brockville.
I remember, I believe, I'm trying to remember although those Hallmark movies, it's also a quick turnaround too. So I'm trying to remember. I know we would cover when there was a big filming that was going on. They'd be like, oh, this person from CTV was in the show as well, and blah, blah, blah. So, that was always a big thing. I'm going to see if I could try and convince the Hallmark people to come down to Belleville to shoot a show. I think that would be the magnum opus for the city of Belleville.
Huh.
Although we had an episode of Murdoch Mysteries that was filmed in Belleville a few years ago.
Is that 1978 or 1982?
Murdoch Mysteries. It's a BBC show.
I feel like it's been on for.
It's been a while. It's funny they had to change the signs so it wouldn't say Belleville. It was Rochester, New York. It's supposed to be set in old time Rochester, New York. So that was a big thing.
They do that all the time because not only do the provinces have grants for some of the movies, but it's so much cheaper for them to come up and just come across the border and film it, and they make it's 30% less off the top to make the movie.
Yes.
But there's just a lot of I'm just trying to think of other, there's about 5 or 6 actresses that are, and the guys too, that are just they're in every one of them, and they just kind of switch up. But Lacey's kind of the queen, I would say. Nikki DeLoach is one of them. Man, there's just so many. Aaron Krakow. Yes, Aaron Krakow. She's in so many of them. But yeah, they're very, at the end, you're kind of like, okay. Yes.
Seem very harmless.
Well, what's Rich trying to say?
I think he's trying to combine Belleville with the palatial estates and the
Bellation estates.
Yes.
No. There's only one, the palatial estates in Ashton.
Yes. When you told that story about the OPP coming by and because of the stolen cars, I remember telling the predictor about it. I was like, it's wild. There's these helicopters and whatnot. And he responded back, not the palatial estates. All caps, it's exactly. The palatial estates.
And so for anybody that's lucky enough to have been here, that there ain't a lot happening around here.
No. It's very easy to get in and you're out. And when it comes to Ashton,
especially because like it's fairly close to the bar.
Yep.
The pub, but the pub closes very early. Like last call is at 8:45, and at 9:00 it's ghost town time.
Mm-hmm.
Like not a usual hours for bars. Like Friday night, Saturday night, yeah, we're closed at 9. Like,
yep,
shut her down. So if people are coming in after that, like there's nothing happening. There's just not a lot going on here anyway. So for all of that to have happened here, like it was quite a day.
Yeah.
All right. So we've established that I'm a big Hallmark movie guy, and like I can be and especially the sports themed ones. Like they made the Kansas City one a couple of years ago, and then they made the Buffalo Bills one as a follow up. Like something.
Sure, they didn't make that many changes to the script.
No, they didn't at all. They just changed the uniforms, and it's like a touchdown story of like, oh my God.
Of course.
Like, the more cheese, the better, though.
Right.
Like when you just, if you're going to do it, lean into it, which they do. I'll give them a lot of credit for that.
She scored an extra point in this relationship.
Right. So the one I watched yesterday on golf, I had not seen, Love on the Right Course.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like, at some point, would they have even bothered to ask the actress that's like the lead if she had ever swung a club in her life? If she's the pro? Like, she's on tour. She's literally on the ladies tour and wondering whether she can keep her card, and the Eastern European Championships are coming up and she's got to get her tour card, stay with her. Like, she looks like she's never swung a club in her life. Like, come on. You couldn't get anybody that even looked like, just, could you practice for like a day?
Yeah. Oh, there was a football movie like that. I don't know if it was the Kurt Warner movie, but there was a football movie where it's like girls like coming up to chat with him and he's going back to pass and he throws like the most horrendous looking throws. He's like, like not even like a full, like he throws it from his chest. I'm like, no, that's not how you.
Yeah, no,
if I was the director, I'd be like, cut, come on, man. Like you gotta throw it
that quick turnarounds. You can't fix everything. It's like, hey, we're starting this movie on a Monday. Yeah, we need to be done on Tuesday night.
That's right.
I remember the one in the market. There used to be, I don't know what it is now. There used to be a Starbucks, like right beside.
Oh, I would go to that Starbucks all the time.
Yeah.
Now it's like a coffee shop of some sort, but
they shut it down.
Yep.
In between, I forget what was it before it turned into a Starbucks, but anyway, they went in there and they basically filmed the whole movie in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a coffee shop and it was like the house that they lived in. Right. It was like 4 of the 7 scenes they built in the Starbucks.
Yep.
No wonder they can turn these around so quickly. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I like them. If you have any recommendations, please reach out. All right, that's going to do it for us. I promise you we're going to be back a lot this week and next week.
Yep.
So there'll be no shortage of content. Hope you have a good week, Zach, and we might not talk for a couple of days on this show, but then as it comes out, I don't know whether we're going to be live or do some recordings and have them come out, but man, it's just a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. Looking forward to it, though. Once we get it hunkered down, and whether it be live or recording, we will bring it to you, and it will be available for consumption of some sort.
Rich says, my favorite ones are the ones where they move somewhere, change jobs, have to learn the new culture, buy a house in Italy, and upgrade it to an Italian restaurant. I agree. Like, I love the ones. So this golf one was actually filmed, half of it or more, in Hungary.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there was like because I always wait to the end and go through the credits to see, and there was a joint Ontario, Hungary bid for this, and they filmed like most of it in Hungary.
Wow.
But some of it in Ontario, and like, okay. But yeah, if they ever do shows that are in like, oh, we're in upstate New York or Pennsylvania, or like it's in Ontario. And then if they're anywhere in California, like Oregon, Washington, where you see a lot of them, like Washington State, the West Coast, they are always in like just north of Vancouver.
Yeah.
They're always somewhere in like not Kamloops, but the outskirts of Vancouver within an hour and a half of Vancouver.
Yeah.
All the time. Okay, we got to go.
Let's go on out of here.
Yeah, we got to go. But we appreciate you being with us. Rich, you've done a hell of a job at doing multitasking and watching movies and being a part of this show.
Of course.
Stardust Tesla, you better be in Montreal coming up in a couple of weeks. And
thank you for putting me over, Scoose.
And what our t-shirts or getup is going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. We are taking ideas, but I can tell you Zach's not putting himself over.
Damn it.
Past the group. That I can promise you.
All right. Well, can't play my creative control card or anything like that. And just subsection E, paragraph 1, brother. This is what I've got here.
There are times that you probably could get that over. Like if you wanted to do something now on a Sunday night, like, you know what, Zach, have at it. Like whatever you need to do. But going to Montreal, being in the Bell Center, probably getting on TV on the pay-per-view. No, I'm not going to let you put yourself over at that.
Dang. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Paul Levesque sees will be okay for one night. Nonetheless.
You get over. Always reminds me of. Goddamn right, I'm over.
I'm over. You're goddamn right, I'm over. It is a great shirt. Christian Cage having a variation of that shirt too.
I just love it.
So good. Anyway, let's get on out of here.
All right, let's get on out of here. Thank you for being with us. And if you're listening to this, remember we were recording this on a Sunday night. So thank you for staying with us. I'm always amazed at people that hear like these stories of the Hallmark movies at the end and like they got to the very end. I'm like, how did you ever get there? On a
how
Monday
and why?
Yeah, but the fact that you do, we're very, very happy about that.
Absolutely.
All right. So for Zach McGibbon, I'm Lee Versage. Thanks for being with us for another edition of This is Wrestling.